compulsory. If you would remember, or if you ever had the chance to go to a graduate computer science program, then your professor might have told you that avoid go-to statements at all cost, which is a very good advice. You should avoid them. But here's another advice that I would give you is that try to avoid if statements as much as possible. Um, if statements are like sometimes unavoidable, but nested if statements are totally avoidable. Now you may wonder why I would like to avoid it. The problem with if statement is that if every if statement is a new test for you to check, a new condition for you to write a unit test for, and a new scenario for your QA tester to test. The more if statements you would have, the more scenarios there are to test, the more maintenance cost it will require, and the more nested if statements it will have your code will have. Rest assured, there would be more chances of bugs. So today I will take up a code which has quite a lot of if statements as I could see, and we will just do a little exercise to show how we can avoid all those if statements. So this is a code which I took from internet somewhere on the Stack Overflow code review website, and what it does is that it takes a given date and it just writes back or returns back a better and pretty date. For example, just now, 1 year ago or 2 weeks ago, something you might already have seen in websites like Twitter and Facebook. So if you go through it, then you would see that it has a lot of if and else statements. Just to remind, this is not my code, I just took it somewhere else. So you would see there's an if, else if, and then every else if has like if, else. So trust me, this code will be an infestation ground for bugs to live in and prosper. And if your code looks like this, then let me assure you that you need to refactor it. And it's okay. The first piece of code that we write is not usually the best, and it's better to revise it. So what I will go is I will just take some parts of it and would show you how to fix it. So the developer has started writing from if minutes is less than equal to 1 just now. He kind of tried to treat it as a special scenario, which I don't think we need to do. What I would do is that in my mind, I would see it as from going from a bigger number to a lower number. Like our if statements will go from year to months to days, sorry, from year to months to weeks to days and so on. So I do not think that we need this if a special minutes statement. I'll start from this. So here is if is greater than equal to 1, if is greater than equal to 2, and then there is else. So I don't think that we need this if is greater than equal to 1. Like we can run two statements. So I will remove this and this. No need for extra curly braces when there's just one statement. I truly believe that the code that we don't need, any character, any line that we don't need should be deleted immediately. If you would ever need in future, you will add it. Now my point is that I don't think that we even need this else statement. What we could do is that since we are not doing anything on the this is the answer that we need from this function. This is the value or output that we need from this function. So we do not need to have another if statement, or we do not even need this variable stringy. So we could just say, hey, return, and if is equal to 1, So this was the original code that we took. You could see it's more or less like two ifs and one else, and we have just brought it down to two basic ifs, no else or anything. Much readable code, and it will be much easier to unit test, since you know that if this condition is true, then you will get a return value and code is not even going forward. So the next thing that I would like to go for is months. Okay, for some reason this code is not handling the month situation, which is interesting, but okay, I'll ignore it and I'll just move on to weeks. Oh, I've actually, I'm a little new to Mac, so I don't know all the shortcuts, so you will just have to bear with me for now. So again, we do not need this if statement, we can easily remove it. And if let's see what his weeks into 7 is greater than 0. Okay, if days minus weeks into 7 is greater than 1. Okay, so the truth is that it's so weird a code that I'm like, it's so I think the right word is that it's so, there are so many statements that I don't even want to read it. And what I'll do is I'll replace all of these with these 3 to 4 lines. Um, these parentheses are not needed, so you know what? I'll just remove them. I'm a mathematician and I like to keep things in parentheses, but remember the rule of less code. What's not needed should not be there. So what we could do is that we could just write, like we could just replace all of this with this 2 lines. Uh, hmm. So if weeks is equal to 1, turn this. Oh, you don't need this. Um, so we could just remove this code. We could see this, the more than 10 lines, and we have replaced it with hardly 5 lines. Now let's see what's there for days. Again, the days code is this long, and even our code is this long, so we don't need that. We could just, this more than 20 line code, we could just replace it with this. if database is greater than or equal to 2, and the same goes for ours. And same goes for minutes. And we are done. So this is our code, which has just basic if statements, and they are returning as soon as one of our conditions meet, we return the value there and then, and we are not even going and reading extra code, or we are checking anything else. So what would happen is that you would say, if you would write unit tests, you would be writing unit tests for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 say unit test scenarios that you would be adding. Now if I